Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of The Magic We Have at Home. I am your host, Bear, and I'm joined today by my lovely friends, Bjorn and Ren.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Wow, okay.
We didn't see you there.
Well,
Must have been the wind.
We're here today to discuss our newest ideas together and just brew some fun decks for you guys. So, who would like to go first? Who would like to share?
I will go first. After 2 straight weeks of beatdowns, I've decided that I actually need to start trying because I would like to start doing the intro again. So my deck is not so much a deck, actually. This is probably the most assistance I have ever asked of you guys as far as we're going here. But basically, one of the first decks that I ever built was a Godzilla King of Monsters Gruul deck, and it was just red-green stompy.
I remember this deck.
That was, I think, the second deck I've ever played. And I've never, in my time playing, I honestly haven't seen a lot of people play red-green. I don't know why. It doesn't seem like I think it's a good color combo. My actual opinion on why I don't see a lot of people play it is that I think it's very generic. It just is kind of big mana, go fast, and swing a bunch of big creatures. And I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that, but I do think it's a very easy color combination in which to just, you can kind of just throw in whatever creatures are in green and red and they will just inherently work with one another. So when I have like a list of ideas that I want to bring on here, and one of them I put on here was I think it said something along the lines of like Gruul but interesting. So I just wanted to come up with some sort of Gruul deck, some sort of red-green deck that wasn't just big creatures. And it doesn't even have to be that crazy. I want something that's more than just a pile of good creatures in green and red. And so one card that I was thinking about, one card that actually I thought would be kind of fun for this was, why can't I think of the name? Bootlegger's Stash. So Bootlegger's Stash is an enchantment. It's 5 and a green, and it just says lands you control have tap, create a treasure. And I think that sounds like just an interesting card to try to build around. I decided, I was looking at that card and be like, oh, I wonder how I could build around this. And it's a mono green card. But then I thought, well, red has good access to treasures, so this could maybe be what I use for my red-green deck. And so since then, I've been kind of just looking at like some sort of red-green deck that deals with treasures and maybe artifacts, maybe some sort of combo. Clearly, there's going to be some big mana stuff. So what I have right now is not so much a deck as it is, I just was on Scryfall looking at a whole bunch of things to do with artifacts and a whole bunch of things to do with treasures and just kind of throwing cards into a deck just so that I remembered that they existed. So that is as fleshed out as I have of an idea. One card that I did find that I think that I do want to build around is called Depth Shaker Titan. It's a 5/5 artifact robot. It's a creature, 5 and 2 red, and when it enters, any number of non-creature artifacts I control become 3/3 artifact creatures. And then each artifact creature I control has melee, trample, and haste, which melee is whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each opponent I attacked. So essentially, I could make, my goal would be have 30 treasures, slam out Depth Shaker Titan, and then all my treasures become 30 30s. I can swing with them and hopefully knock out a player. Or not, they wouldn't become 30 30s. They become 3 3s, but really they'd be 5/5 because I would swing at both opponents, and ideally you slam that and kill them. And then I also found Graz Unstoppable Juggernaut. He just makes all of your creatures have base power and toughness 5/3. So my thought is it would be kind of funny to turn my treasures into creatures and kill people. I think that'd be a fun plan A. There's a couple other... I think that'd be a fun plan A, but I don't know how to support that all the way and make it consistent. And then there's some other maybe plan B things that I don't know. I want to find a plan B because I don't think that's a good enough or a consistent enough plan A to try to run. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I would love to just kind of hear some ideas from you guys. I mean, on card suggestions, but also just on like themes I could play into or ideas or things to consider when building a deck. And I honestly, I don't even have commanders really. I found Jaheira, Friend of Forest. She's a 2/3. She says tokens you control have tapped to add a green mana. And then she gets a background. So I chose the Guild Artisan background, which is commander creatures you own have whenever this creature attacks a player. If no opponent has more life than that player, you create 2 treasure tokens. So I was looking at that as a potential commander, but I'm not actually like hard convinced on that. So that's where I'm going this week, and I do need a lot of help because this deck is very nebulous at this point. So I would love your guys' ideas on how to focus this in and maybe what to focus on.
Ren, what do you think?
I think you should just, I don't know. Without a chosen commander, it's a lot harder to recommend things. You have Baloth in your treasure area. It'd be interesting to see a Baloth Gruul deck where you use, I think it's called Belt of Giants. Your commander gets 10/10 or base power toughness 10/10. That might use him well because then you'd be gaining treasures. Everybody would be goated. But without a commander, so your game plan is what?
Right now, my thought is produce a whole lot of treasures and then turn them into creatures and kill people with them. Or use them for big mana. I think that there's some fun, I think that there's some fun, red and green, really big sorceries that I think could be fun to look into as well. I've also considered, I have Magda Brazen Outlaw. I've considered maybe doing, a Dwarfs and Dragons deck. I know she's, CEDH, but I wouldn't run her as the commander. But maybe trying, Dwarfs and Dragons. There's a lot of good dragons in red-green. But that sounded a little boring. So
I really like Clan Ogre a lot. I do think you did a good job. I like a lot of your cards that you have kind of in this I don't know, pile of scraps, as you might call it. Mm-hmm. But the ability, when you're making so many tokens, the ability to just sacrifice tokens as a cost to do things is great. I mean, Kuldotha, Forge Master, also great. I really like that. So, I mean, you really could lean heavy into the artifact side of Gruul if you want. I think Jaheira is a fine commander, especially if you're doing things like Avenger of Zendikar, where you're making a bunch of plant creature tokens, and you could really just lean into mass token creation and see where you get from there. I really think it might be interesting to look closely at the artifact synergies, because you're gonna have so many artifact tokens from those lands, especially if you ramp well enough, which you always ramp really well. So,
thank you.
Would say,
I have to. This deck should have so much ramp because I want to make treasures, but I also specifically wanted to use Bootlegger Stash to make treasures, and so that's lands. So I want to have so much mana with this.
Now I have a question.
Go for it.
How many cards in either green or red make all of your creatures or make all of a certain kind of permanent also a land? I feel like I've seen those cards played before.
They turn your creatures into lands?
Yeah, they're also a land in addition to their type, right? You've heard of those? I'm sure those exist. I've seen those. I think that could be really interesting. If you're playing a lot of these creatures, all of a sudden they're also lands. You can tap 40 things for treasures. I don't know. It's just an idea.
That's actually, I really like that. I didn't think of that angle.
Let me do some searching here.
I'm on Scryfall right now. So I just searched creature becomes land. There's only 3.
Rand, do you know what I'm talking
these are more
about?
lands. Oh, I know why.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. You could run something like Ashaya.
All
creatures become lands in addition to their other types.
Yeah, that's really funny.
I think that would be really fun, dude. I would love to play against a deck where everything is a land and everything's making treasures and everything can tap for mana at the same time. I think that could be really fun.
Yeah,
You're talking about Shia, Soul of the Wild? Non-token creatures you control forests. That's hilarious.
Why do you have Scoot Swarm in here? That's terrifying, man. I don't want to see Scoot Swarm this early in the morning.
I've never played a Scoot Swarm. Just because one of the things that I knew, so when I was doing this, when I was putting together these cards, again, this is not a deck. This is generally when I make a deck, if whether I'm making it in paper or on Archidekt, unless I have a really clear idea of what I want to do, I'll kind of just search Scryfall for a bunch of different things. So I just searched cards in red and green that have landfall because I know I'm going to be playing a ton of lands. I search create a treasure. I search sacrifice an artifact. I search artifact becomes a creature. I just search all these things and then just throw them in. So my themes are really vague. So Scoot Swarm is in there because if I go into landfall, Scoot Swarm is very good for landfall. But specifically, it's a combination of I think I searched landfall, and then the ones that I picked out were specifically ones that created a token, because Jaheira gives your tokens tap to add a red or a green mana. So the idea is that you have Scoot Swarm, you play a bunch of lands, you make 1 million tokens because Scoot Swarm is so busted, and then I can tap all of those tokens to just create more mana. It's just kind of a positive feedback loop. But
That's disgusting, and I don't like it.
I love it so much.
We're going to have to remove that one on site.
Yeah, that is definitely a card.
Yeah. So how are you going to make this, if you've got like a Shia, how are you going to make this a deck that doesn't just go infinite with cards like Rampaging Baloth? Like, how are you going to make sure your landfall doesn't just stall out the game?
So explain how Rampaging Baloth would go infinite.
Rampaging Baloths, whenever a land you control enters, create a 4/4 green beast creature.
Because a Shia would make them all lands.
Yeah. If they're all lands, Rampaging Baloths and Scoot Swarm would endlessly multiply.
I think we play
the
that.
game would be stalled,
I think you just put
and then
that
we would
in
have
there.
we would have nobody to do the intro because nobody wins.
No, I would win.
No, it's stalled.
That's
Does a
true.
Shia-
The effect never stops, I think. I think it just keeps going forever.
There's no way to interrupt it.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know. I think we'll burn that bridge when we get there.
I agree.
We're gonna burn a lot of bridges when we start playing Simic Landfall.
I have a great card. I think that would be fun if you did
for
play
it.
a Shia. It's called Ren and Realmbreaker, which is also very fitting considering Ren's right here with us. But Ren is spelled Wrenn. It's a planeswalker. Lands you control add 1 mana of any color, but then you can get a nice emblem, and you may play lands and cast permanent spells from your graveyard. You can also do some milling. You can do some, target land becomes an elemental creature stuff. It's still a land. So if we're going to make everything lands, it could be a lot of fun. Could be a lot of fun to get some stuff out of your graveyard as well. I don't know. Have you looked into mill at all in green?
No, I have not looked into mill at all. No, I haven't really considered mill. I guess you could run things like Life from the Loam. There's a lot of decent green. Is it Eternal Witness, the one that brings stuff back from your graveyard?
I think so.
That's not a bad idea. Go ahead, Ren.
There's a couple more like that are just target permanents to get back things like enchantments. I know that could be pretty troublesome in green, but you do have a lot more options now than when I started playing Magic. There's like Return to the Shire or Revive the Shire, I think it is. Mm-hmm. There's a March of the Machines one where you proliferate afterwards. There's a good amount of ways to get stuff back, but there is one card I would recommend immediately. It's called Wake of Destruction. Destroy target land and all lands with the same name as that land.
I think as I was editing our last gameplay video, there was so much talk of land destruction. I think we might need to start doing like a counter of how often we suggest land destruction.
Why don't we start now?
Well, it's fun.
Oh, I found a great card.
Go for it. I actually do. Sorry, I like
I-
Wake of Destruction because if I just have all the treasures, I like with the amount of mana that this deck should produce, and with the commander making your creatures tap, like land destruction would actually be a pretty decent finisher. This deck breaks parity with land destruction.
On our last gameplay video, land destruction was a pretty decent finisher, except you finished the game for us.
Yeah,
and not
I
for
finished.
him.
I finished myself instead. What's that one card? The one that everyone hates, the Yonkel Cops or something. How do you? I don't know.
Yeoman Cops.
Yeah, you're Dutch. How do I spell this?
JOKULHAUPS.
I cannot believe you actually knew how to spell that off the top of your head.
It's impressive.
How do you say it?
Yonkel Cops?
Yonkel Cops? Wow.
Yonkel Hops.
Oh, this destroys all
hops as in
artifacts,
what?
creatures, and lands. Okay, that's not as good.
Yeah.
Not as good.
No.
I probably won't add that one. Sorry,
Run
Bear,
Stone
you said
Range,
you had a
just destroy one
recommendation?
land.
Yeah, well, I was looking through it and I realized the card was somebody's custom card and doesn't actually exist. It was some fun tree planeswalker that you could take control of all lands as it's -10. I was like, that seems really good, and no wonder because it's not real. But there you go.
Okay. I kind of like the Ashaya. This is one card I also did want to talk about. I think you'll like this. Just one more I could build around. Displaced Dinosaurs. It's a Doctor Who card. It's a 7/7 dinosaur. And it's as a historic permanent enters the battlefield under your control, it becomes a 7/7 dinosaur in addition to its other types. So it would turn all of my treasures into 7/7 dinosaurs.
I love it.
Okay.
I am curious, just because I have so few cards that would actually do that. Like, essentially right now what I'm thinking at is like I have the Depth Shaker Titan, I have a Shia to play around, I have Displaced Dinosaurs, and then maybe like one or two other cards that I could find, like maybe the Rampaging Baloths or the Scoot Swarm, that would like finish the game, like would actually be a good finisher. Do you guys think... Do you think that I have enough different cards that could finish the games that I don't like if I have like one finisher, I usually will run tutors for it, if that makes sense. Like if I have like a very specific gameplay, I'll run tutors to get it out because I want to actually play that route. I think with this, I don't think I need to do that. What do you guys think? Like the only card I would consider running tutors for is the bootlegger stash, so that I can just get that out, because there's only, as far as I can tell, that's the only card that does what it does.
Yeah,
I don't.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ren. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't think there's another card that does Bootlegger Stash quite to what Bootlegger Stash does. Running a tutor for Bootlegger Stash doesn't seem bad, so long as you're fine with me blowing it up.
Yeah, no, go for it.
I think the hard part in a deck like this is if you're so dependent on a card that you don't have a way to get back. I feel a little bit nervous playing the deck that way, and maybe that's just me being averse, like mill averse, graveyard play averse, just losing stuff. I'm not a huge fan of that, and maybe that's just the fear inside of me talking. But when I know that I need one or two specific cards to do the entire deck plan, I feel like then it gets a little stressful unless I've either built in some good filtering or some sweet recursion method. I don't really know what that is, but in your case, like if your main card is Bootlegger Stash, then there's probably got to be some way that you can get it back. Which you kind of can. I saw a few recursion elements in your list, but like, yeah. Anyways,
that's kind of what I've been thinking with it. Is I don't know that I'm like crazy committed to Bootlegger Stash as being this has to be the card that I get out. Like it was the one that inspired the deck, but sometimes I'll have a card that inspires a deck and I'll build the deck and then the card doesn't even fit in it, and I'm like, well, I like this deck. And so I'm not like, I don't know how attached I am to it, but I'm kind of feeling like my options are either have a package in there that is dedicated just to getting out Bootlegger Stash and then protecting it or keeping it alive, or just getting other cards that are going to produce a lot of treasures or lands in another way, so that I'm just not as reliant on it. And I just haven't decided on that, but I think that's where I have to go, is kind of choose between like, do I run a really hone in and just do Bootlegger Stash and make that my big treasure producer, or do I just run a bunch of treasure producers? So
if I can offer an opinion, I would say while my making everything a land suggestion is fun, I think it would be really interesting. Idea. Yeah, and I mean, which is totally fine. It's up to you ultimately. I do really think it would be interesting to see a deck that plays, I know it wouldn't be super consistent, but plays around Bootlegger Stash and plays around a billion treasures that all turn into creatures and I don't obviously know how powerful that would be or how consistently you could pull that off, and maybe that's going to require some solid tuning this week.
I'd
be interested to see that. No, I would just be really interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, well, I think I do. I want to play into the treasures. I think using Displaced Dinosaurs or Depth Shaker Titan and Grots, which is a 15 mana combo for the record, I think is really funny. I do want to play around the treasures regardless. I think I'm just going to have to be very intentional about not turning this into just a random, like, because I'm going to be producing so much mana regardless of which way I go, I have to work hard not to turn this into just a pile of green-red mush that just throws out a big, like, Galta, and I don't know, like, Avenger of Zendikar. I have that card in this list, but, so I think, I don't know what I'm going to go with, but yeah, you're right. I need to, I'm going to have to work hard to keep a very clear game plan with this. And I do want to build around the treasures and just producing a bunch of mana. It's just if I produce the treasures with Bootlegger Stash or with other cards.
Sure.
But that's around the 20-minute mark. Ren, do you have any closing thoughts before we move on?
Yeah. 2. You could do really well with like spells like Fireball right now. Just like a big X spell to just channel all your mana into towards the end of the game to just bully somebody for that last little bit of damage. Or my second thought is this deck does already kind of start to look like Gruul good stuff mush.
Yeah,
because
I don't want that.
There's not many of these cards that I would see in like just like you've got just like plant tokens everywhere. You've got beast tokens. You've got artifact finding, you've got creature finding. You don't have removal because I'm guessing you think, oh, I can just run through that, and that's a sign that you're on the Gruul pill.
Oh, I'll put in removal late. Like that's I until I get what you're saying. I have thought about that. I usually just put in like I usually leave room for a removal package once I kind of decide what theme I want to go with. So I will not be trying to do that. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Well, it looks like fun. I can't wait till you see the glory of Jund and just swap to Corvold.
All right. Cool. Bear, you're up, right? You wanted to go second?
Yes. Yeah, let's do it. So my deck this week is going to be titled Isao's Enlightened. Well, I guess I've renamed it Isao's Shapeless Legion, which was a AI help assisted title. Anyways, the whole theme I really was trying to build around was this one card, Isao Enlightened Bushi. He is a human samurai. He's 2 and a green for a 2/1 with Bushido 2. When he blocks or becomes blocked, he gets +2/+2 until end of turn, and then he can regenerate target samurais. So my thought process instantly was like, okay, I would love to make something that is very much on theme with samurai. And then I looked at how many green samurai there were, and there was only 5, including Isao. So I'm kind of in an interesting predicament right now. But if you guys look at the list I have, you'll kind of see where I'm going. I've included all those green samurai and then a bunch of changelings. And currently my hope is to make some deck that is thematically really cohesive, that also plays into some of the core tenets of what I think of it when I think of a samurai. So, there's a lot of honor in combat. You're not doing a bunch of sneak attacks, or I'm not going to use toxic. I'm not going to hit you guys for 10 toxic or whatever, right? I'm not doing a ton of evasion, but instead actually just playing into the combat elements of the game. So a lot of creatures, a lot of maybe pumping creatures or equipping creatures with weapons, and then fighting and actually trying to win through combat. And I think that is the way I want to go. My only issue is, like I said, there's not that many samurai. And so I would love some help just kind of honing in on how to play a thematic deck like this, but also contend with decks like Ren's or like yours, Bjorn, that end up maybe being a little bit more open or having more colors or more support, more things at their disposal. So that's kind of where I'm at. Any thoughts when you guys hear what I'm describing to you?
I have a couple ideas, but Ren, you want to go first?
No, you could go first this time.
Okay, all right. There's a lot of different thoughts I've had with this one, because Isao is, to be frank, not good.
Yes.
It's just an old card. I get what you're going for with the theme. And I'm not saying don't play it, because like I know you want to play it, and that's what this is here for. Mm-hmm. But when you're running a commander that is just inherently this weak, and a theme it's this weakly supported, the general idea I've heard around this, and this is actually from the Trinket Mage, I think he's the one who I've heard talk about it the most, is when you're running a theme that is not supported and it's janky, you need to you support it with just generically good cards.
Yeah.
Like you
Real quick, Bjorn.
Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you. This is an audio thing. Whenever you're talking, there's like a beep coming from your background.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I think there might be like a smoke alarm out somewhere in the building. It's not coming from in here, but I've been hearing it too.
You can do some AI voice isolation in post.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
I don't know.
Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So, and I don't play a lot of green, so I don't know a lot of just generally good mono green cards. I guess, like, yeah, I wish I seriously am drawing so much of a blank. Ren, you play mono green. What are some just like very generic value mono green cards that he should probably be running just to kind of support a weak plan? Like just mono green. I guess I think like Beast Within is like it's just a very classic control spell that's good. Sorry, go ahead.
So there's a lot of cards like that. The ones that come to mind is first off the 1 mana Dorks, where if you can get ahead in the early game with mono green, you can kind of keep your pace. Mm-hmm. You just kind of want to set a fast tempo. Then I see that you have like a lot of artifacts, but you don't have any way to draw off artifacts entering.
Sure.
I think there's 1 or 2 cards in either colorless or green that like they're just creatures that like whenever an artifact enters the battlefield, draw a card. Mm-hmm. You're running enough artifacts to where that would be useful.
Okay. And the artifacts weren't. I'm not 100% sold on the artifacts per se. I was gonna get your guys' take on that as well. I tried to include a lot of ones that were on theme because I felt like it actually was kind of interesting. But when you have such a weak commander like this, I felt like either some protection or some pump for him would actually be beneficial, especially if he has Bushido 2 on him. I think I'd want to actually fight with him just a little bit, you know?
One of my big recommendations, actually, it just touches on both, like, how are you going to draw cards and also about the artifacts. When I look at Isao in mono green, and you want him to block and get blocked, you can regenerate him. He just seems very much like a Voltron commander. I think that's going to be your best bet. But I think in mono green, I think enchantments would actually be better, like auras. I mean, obviously you should run some equipments. Because if you run enchantments, there's so much mono green enchantment support. So you have like Enchantress's Presence, Elysian Dryad.
Slow down. I need these cards in my lap.
Sorry.
Hold on. No, you're fine.
There's so many here. There's so many mono green creatures or enchantments
Rancor.
that say when a enchantment you control enters the battlefield, draw a card. There's so many. Verdun Enchantress, Setessan Champion. Like there's so many of them. And so I think that's where you get your support, and you run a lot of auras. And one thing that actually works really well with Isao is that he can regenerate himself.
Can he regenerate himself if he's in the graveyard?
So the way
that's
that
not how regenerate works.
Yeah, the way that regenerate works is they never die and they never leave the battlefield. You essentially it's like putting a shield on it, essentially. So like you have to do it before it dies, but you essentially just like when it takes damage, if it has regenerate, you just remove the damage, tap it, remove it from combat. And so that works really, really well with auras because he's not going to leave the battlefield and then like get recurred. So you don't have to worry about all your auras like getting removed from him and getting put in the graveyard. So I think maybe looking more into auras and enchantments and run like mono green enchantments. I
like it.
Yeah.
I ran a curses deck a while ago that was in Sultai, and there's not very many curse cards. So I was like, okay, well, I'm running enchantment, so maybe I'll just run in like an enchantment sub-theme. And the enchantment sub-theme with like 15 cards was so much stronger than the curses. I actually ended up taking that deck apart because it just turned into enchantment Voltron. Like, not even on purpose. I was just trying to fill out a deck, and it was like, this is just... I draw a hand, and it was like, well, do I want to play curses, or do I want to play enchantment Voltron? And it was like, I'll win the game if I play enchantment Voltron. So I think that would be actually like a powerful theme that you could run. to
Okay.
buff up Isao, and I think his regenerate actually works really well. But with that,
That's cool.
I would run like basically no other creatures. I mean, like Isao would be your like one creature that's going to attack.
Okay. Do you think when you this might actually work really well then if you think about it. If I want to roll with some samurai stuff, there's only the other 4 samurai in green. Do you think keeping them in, as long as maybe like a couple other creatures that offer some mana ramp benefits, something like that, do you think leaving those in is fine as long as I'm really focused on Isao and just using those for utility?
I mean, that just comes down, as usual, I feel like that comes down to just like flavor versus power. If you want to go for power, no. You can find much better cards. It's kind of fun to look at that. Like, none of the other samurai are, like, Bushido's just not a very good mechanic. It's just not very powerful. So I wouldn't for power's sake. But if you just are like this, I want this to be my samurai deck. I want it to all be samurai themed. Yeah, run it.
Okay. All right. I like it. Thank you. There's one weapon I was interested in. It's called Eater of Virtue. And this was a direction I wasn't sure if I wanted to take this deck, and I don't think I will anymore. But Eater of Virtue is a 1-cost, 1-equip, legendary artifact equipment. Whenever a creature dies, you exile it. Equipped creature gets +2/+0, and then as long as the creature has one of the specified effects, whether that's double strike, death touch, haste, whatever, the creature that this is equipped to has that. And so my thought process was something along the lines of putting in a bunch of creatures, whether they're death touch, whether they're trample, whether it's flying, just giving a bunch of creatures that have these effects onto the battlefield and then swinging with them with this equipped. Ultimately, I know this is a really long-term thought process, long-term game plan, but putting in a bunch of green creatures with these keywords and then ultimately getting this sword on Isao or on some other big creature just because it gets more powerful as it goes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was curious what you guys thought of that sword.
I wouldn't. It's cool because it's a samurai sword, but I think that's just so many hoops to try to jump through for not like a. I think that'd be a fun card to build. I don't know that I just don't think it helps you very much here.
Sure. No, that makes
Yeah,
sense. I think hearing everything you said, I figured that would be the response, but
there's no double strike in green at all, so you can't get the best keyword.
Yeah.
All right.
I would also say no on other creatures because one of my other suggestions that I was thinking of, and this was if you go Voltron, one of the typical problems with Voltron is that you swing with your big creature and then you're kind of wide open because, you know, you have one creature.
No other creatures. Yeah.
I thought Pillow Fort might be a kind of a fun sub-theme. I don't know that there's a lot of great Pillow Fort effects in green, but I think that you could do like some colorless stuff. Like I was looking at like Crawl Space is I think no more than 2 creatures can attack you per turn. Silent Arbiter is only 1 creature can attack each turn and only 1 creature can block each turn. You might be able to find some goad as well. But
I actually think this is a great idea because when you think about the whole samurai idea, I know that they would often fight in an army with a lot of other samurai, but Isao kind of gives me the vibe that he's alone in the forest, right? And he's been really communing with the forest, so to speak. And so if I were to play a Voltron deck surrounding him, I don't really feel like it'd be too far off to include some of that kind of stuff and really lean into just the one lone samurai vibe. And maybe that's how I kind of keep the theme alive, and I can incorporate a few of these swords or a few things that just kind of feel flavorful, you know?
Another fun on-theme one that you could think about is fogs. Like, you know, like the disappear in the cloud of smoke. You attack and then vanish. Fogs could be kind of fun to run in this as well.
Yeah.
So I think there's some fun stuff you can do here. I
really appreciate that. I think that's really helpful. I was definitely leaning the direction of tons of creatures, Maskwood Nexus, which was a card that Ren had suggested to me, and turning everything into a samurai, which would have been fun, but I do really think it might play better and be more powerful and more consistent to just do Voltron. So I think that's really cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Ren, do you have any other thought? I've been thinking about this one because when Bear told me about it, like at the beginning of the week, I just went like, this is gonna be a terrible deck. And so then I've been thinking about it a lot because I didn't want to come on and just be like, yeah, this deck sucks. I don't know how you're gonna do it, man. So I've like got a whole bunch of ideas written down because I've been thinking about it so much. I don't want to dominate though. So Ren, if you have stuff you want to share, go for it.
It's a good thing we play in bracket 2.
2-ish.
You've got, 2-ish. We've got Rancor in mono green, which is honestly one of the best spells.
Yeah, that
probably
card's
one of the
so
best
good.
enchantments in the game. It's just 1 mana, +2/+0 to the creature it's enchanted to, and trample. And then when that creature dies, it goes back to your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're running like draw, whenever you cast a thing, that's great. You can run Greater Good. Sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to the sacrifice creature's power, then discard 3 cards. Basically, if Isao is about to get blocked by a 2/1 first strike death touch, you can just be like, no, I will sacrifice my Isao and I will draw many cards.
Or you could regenerate him.
That's true.
Yeah. Or you could draw cards.
Yeah.
You could also use cards like Unnatural Growth. There's Unnatural Growth. I think there's one other one where it's you double the power toughness of each creature you control at the beginning of each combat.
I see.
So with mono green enchantments, there's like the sky's the limit. You can run Retreat to Kazandu, which is landfall, put a 1/1 counter on something, or gain 2 life, but it's mostly put a 1/1 counter on something. You have so many options with enchantments. So I think that's a really good recommendation. You can also run Genesis Wave, which is one that I really like, which would kind of... I've never played it in an enchantments deck, but it might go crazy.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting. Oh, wow. That is interesting.
Here's a fun one for... I looked up on EDH Rec Enchantress because there's so many I can't remember names of all of them. Alpha Authority. Enchanted creature has hexproof and can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. And so it's like you're kind of forcing them into single combat, I think is pretty fun.
I like that. That's really cool.
Ooh, Strong Back. I haven't actually seen this one before. This is a Fallout card. But equip abilities and aura spells you cast cost 3 less to cast. And enchanted creature gets +2/+2 for each aura and equipment attached to it.
Oh, that's cool. I really like that.
So another thing you could think about for ramp, there's a lot of fun enchantments that, there's rather than run like ramp spells and put out more lands, you run enchantments that make lands tap for additional mana, and then you play cards. So like there's a ton of those. Fertile Ground, when enchanted land is tapped, add an additional 1 mana of any color. Overgrowth, when enchanted land is tapped, its controller adds an additional 2 green. I know there's so many more than that. Give me a sec to find some more. There's like...
Oh, those are good.
Why can't I remember more? I haven't played my green enchantments in a while, that's why.
Explain it.
Yeah. There's so many of those cards that are really cheap. And then what you can run is cards like Arbiter Elf. I think that's the name. Arbiter...
Arbor Elf?
Arbor Elf, yes. Not Arbiter Elf.
A mana dork?
Arbiter Elf taps to untap target forest. And that is much better than tapping for 1 mana because... So you could do that. There's this card called Voyaging Satyr. And so you put all these enchantments. You have a land that taps for 8 mana. And then you can tap it, untap it with Arbor Elf. Tap it, untap it with Voyaging Satyr. So you could... I mean... That could just be kind of goofy and kind of fun.
Sure.
If someone kills that land, which who would ever run land destruction? Or if they blow up all your
that might be
enchantments. That is the problem. You are absolutely screwed if that happens. But like, it's kind of fun. I think. Like
as long as you guys aren't running tons of land destruction, that might be fun.
Yeah, we'd never run that. I think that's going to end up being our thing. We might have to just rename this to Land Destruction is Okay. The Land Destruction is Okay podcast.
The land destruction we have at home.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. No, and I don't know. I don't mind doing a little bit of like... I think it's almost fun when you build a deck to have an inherent weakness built in just because you did something on theme. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of fun. I don't have a problem with that. It's like, it's almost funny even. Like, if you have your land and you're tapping it for 16 mana a turn, and then somebody blows up that land, like,
I think that's great.
It's kind of funny. It brings like an extra level of fun to the game. I think that's fine, and I definitely will not run targeted land removal just to counter you.
No, it's okay. I'll play.
I want to do the
Ice
intro.
Explorer.
I want the intro back.
Yeah,
You can't have it.
I think I'm gonna definitely play around with this and your guys' suggestions. I'm really enjoying the idea of some Voltron, but I really do enjoy some of the green creatures that are out there. So there may be some crossover. I may not just have just Isao and that's it. I may actually play a number of other things, but I'm loving the suggestions. I really appreciate it, and I don't want to take too much more time because you guys have given me a ton of help. So
Good. Don't run Shroud. Whatever you do, do not run Shroud.
Shroud will ruin your game.
Yep.
And
Gotcha.
we will laugh at you.
Yes.
can
You won't be able to target
yeah.
him with anything.
Lightning Greaves is gone.
Yep.
See ya, Lightning Greaves.
No, my lightning greaves.
I was really proud of some of the equipments I found, but we'll talk about them in our gameplay next week.
I don't think you don't run equipments. I think you're just going to have
I
more
really
support
just love
for
the
her
theme.
enchantments.
Sure,
Yeah.
I think some of the theme, like looking at Konda's banner, looking at the arts in some of these, Oathkeeper Takeno's Daisho, I think I'm probably butchering that. Looking at some of the swords, Tatsumasa, the Dragon's Fang. Also, question, I know you can pay 6 and remove that sword and then put a blue dragon in. I'm sure I can't play
Yes.
that, can I?
No, you can play that.
Perfect.
Why
Yeah,
wouldn't you be able to play that?
I don't know. I was
Color
just curious,
identity.
but,
Yeah, no, that doesn't
you
count
know,
as a blue
and
card.
even Generals Kabuto, like, I know they're not, I wouldn't say they're the most ideal. They cost a lot, but I feel like the theme is very strong. And so I'm kind of just excited to play a deck that maybe does have some weakness, but really feels like what I'm trying to feel when I play it, you know?
Yeah, I like it.
Anyways.
Ancestral Mask. That one actually fits very well on theme. Equipped creature, or it's an aura, but enchanted creature gets +2/+2 for each enchantment attached to it, or for each enchantment you
yeah.
control. And I believe it looks like
wow.
a samurai mask.
It does look kind of cool.
So you could definitely do that.
Oh, this is great. Thank you, guys. I'm very fired up. I don't want to take any more time, though, so I think we should move on to Ren here.
All right.
Okay.
Tell us about this Ren. I'm live reacting. Ren wanted apparently to surprise me with this deck. Is what I
Yeah,
was
so it's all infect. No, it's not all
No.
infect. I thought about it, though. I asked my younger brother, what should I include in a Storvald deck? And he said infect, and I said no.
Your brother's a bad person.
So my brother is really good at Magic.
He is. Yeah, I was listening to a podcast this week. It was the Magic Mirror podcast, and they were talking about when you play with teenagers, and like all the they were just saying like teenagers run the most unhinged, like they just run mean decks. Like they have no control. They're just so angry, and they're just like, I'm gonna run the meanest, kill everyone, most powerful deck ever. And I think that is true.
That's
of
not
your
my
brother.
younger brother at all.
What do you mean?
My brother runs there's no in between. It's like he wants to win, or there's just like, here's my 4 squirrels in like some weird mana circle that summons 6 mana instead of 3 mana.
Well, that's what I thought he was going to do.
There's no in between.
He has that snail deck. That's what I thought the snail deck was going to be. He's like,
Wait.
oh yeah, I just make this goofy little snail, and he's like, I sacrifice the snail for
No.
60. You're dead.
No, it's like he's
got
11
seven
damage to all of
things.
you. I'm gonna draw. He's so good at Magic. It's so fun.
He is really good at
So
Magic.
the themes or cards I want to avoid is Infect and Friendship. You burnt that last bridge, Bjorn, blowing up my enchantment last game. Themes or cards I want to play into: Pettiness, dealing with problems of just hitting people in the face. I think I learned last week that it's just the creature deck that wins the game. I think that's just a problem we have at this bracket level, where creatures hitting people is just so good. And then the problems I foresee, there's no problem that a big enough stick can't handle. Also, a healthy amount of interaction. I want to... So my deck's name is Lore Accurate Lorkan from the Elder Scrolls.
Oh, yes.
So so like the god of the Nords is kind of like a giant guy because the giants really liked him. So I found Storvald, the frost giant jarl, who will be my commander. He is a
That's pronounced Jarl.
4 and yeah. Go ask your wife how to pronounce J's. So it's 4 and Bant for a 7/7 legendary creature giant with Ward 3. My other creatures will have Ward 3. Whenever he enters the battlefield or attacks, choose one or both. Target creature gets base power toughness 7/7 till end of turn, or target creature has base power toughness 1/1 till end of turn. So basically, he's a beat stick that turns blockers into chumps.
Beautiful.
I like that.
So I tried to be on theme. That's why I think I have 2 artifacts. No, I have a couple artifacts, but only like 1 actual artifact. And I have an unwinding clock because his heart turns into the heart of Lorkan, and that's stuck in the Red Mountain. And then Sothasil makes like the Clockwork City out of it. I'm butchering the lore, so
I
problems
don't.
with that,
I haven't
please.
played Skyrim in years, so you're doing great.
It's been re-released probably this year. So, no, wait, that was Oblivion. Probably last year. But basically, he leads a bunch of Vikings down, and he kills all of the elves. Or, well, that was the goal, but he gets murked on the way by the orc guy.
So I noticed you're running some elves in this deck. I thought that was interesting.
That is an interesting choice.
I've removed them. I need to find non-elf mana dorks.
Agreed. There's some mere mana dorks that have 0 things to do with your theme, but are very fun.
So my kind of first thought is actually from his ability. Other creatures you control have Ward 3. I think that when you play this deck, and I will hold myself to this, and I will really pressure you, Bear, to hold yourself to this too. But I think if you were to build this in paper as well, I think that you should hold this standard. That because Ward says if a speller or an ability would target it, if they don't pay, it's countered. And what I typically see with Ward is someone's like, oh, I'll cast my Path to Exile on your thing, and then they're like, oh, it has Ward, and they're like, oh, okay, well, never mind, I'll cast it at something else. I think you should be a pain in the butt stickler about like, no, you targeted my thing with Ward because it is part of this deck. I think you should do that. I think you should be a stickler about it, and I will hold myself to that. Like, if we target your stuff, then we just have to let it get countered. And the reason I say that is because I think you should put Baral Chief of Compliance in this deck. He's whatever speller ability you control counters a spell, you can draw a card.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think running some like counter like themes. Just I don't know outside of Baral if there's anything else like him. He was just the card that came to mind. I think that would be really fun to just be like, nope, you have to. You can't, if you target my stuff and don't pay the ward, it's getting countered because I am playing counter synergy. I get benefits when my stuff, your stuff gets countered. I think that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion.
And also, you didn't want to have friends. You said you wanted to avoid friendship and engage in pettiness. So I think that is actually an excellent way to do both of those things.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, like, you have the rules on your side. I don't think there's a problem with it. So that was my initial thought on that. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. That's a really good one. Also, I do have some cards in here that you'll look at and be like, that's a really good card. And then you'll look at the rest of the deck and think, why is that card in here? It's just for lore.
I do want
the Sigil of the Empty Throne. Let's go.
I do. Can I add a thought real quick?
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
okay. Okay. Thank you. Jeez.
Negative.
When reading your commander's text, I noticed immediately is also when he enters the battlefield. So I didn't know if you thought about this, but direction you could go with him is Flicker. I know Flicker is really strongly supported in both white and blue, or at least partially strongly supported.
Yeah, very strongly in white and blue.
And I don't know, could be interesting to play with a number of other Viking-style creatures, or creatures that just kind of fit that vibe, or creatures that have flying, or creatures that have whatever, and then just flicker him a bunch at instant speed, or even not at instant speed, but just on your turn, flicker him multiple times. You could really make your board state kind of crazy, or make other people's stuff really weak at an alarming rate. You could do both.
It's one. It's one or both.
Yeah, that's brutal. I hate that. I hate that so much now that I understand how that card works.
There's
another.
go ahead. Sorry.
Another thing you could do with it is if you do flicker him a bunch. I don't know if there are a lot of effects like this, and this may make us hate you, but cards that make other creatures of a certain type or enemy creatures -1/-1.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be interesting to play into this where you just start flickering him and you have these either enchantments or things that are debuffing our creatures already, bring them all down to base power toughness 1, and then they just die instantly.
Yep.
Yeah, Crovox.
Yep, I saw Crovox, and that
right?
was exactly what I thought.
I'm blind. Yeah, there he is. Yep. So yeah, anyways, that was my thought without seeing Crovox, but it seems like you're already on the right path.
I'm
on the wrong
Bear.
path, and you guys sent me here. Flicker? Yeah.
I think Flicker would be fun, though. I don't know how effective it would be, but I think it could be fun.
It would be incredibly effective.
They there's Kaldheim. Kaldheim had a Flicker-based precon that's in blue and white, so you could find lots of Viking-themed cards that flicker in green and not green and white.
I feel like
blue and
I'm
white.
gonna get destroyed this week. I have a feeling.
I think you are too.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm hopefully
actually,
going to surprise you guys and then not.
I don't know. Voltron.
I'm assuming the treasure deck is just going to beat us both.
Well, I hope so because I have yet to win a game. So, but
Oh, never mind. He's going to lose anyway.
yeah, I'm not good at Magic. It actually drives me crazy. Like deck building, I feel confident in my abilities. I am not good at playing the game, and I try. I don't know. I can't figure it out. I don't know why I'm so bad at it, but I am bad at it.
How are you going to say you're not good at Magic when you purposefully blew up the enchantment that could have saved us from him last game?
Exactly
And
like
then
that. That's
laughed
why.
about it, saying, this is what I always planned to do.
Yeah, well, clearly my plans aren't working for me.
Your threat assessment needs work.
Yes, it does. I fully agree. I'm not good at the game.
There's a certain Dragons player that I would compare you to
Aww.
if she were here.
Uh-oh.
Aww.
Sometimes it's just lacking.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's not great. Okay, so you're thinking Blink. I'm trying to think of what else you could do with this. I think stacks, like looking at your deck list, you only have a couple cards in stack. You have Thalia, Heretic Cathar, and Riadane, God of the Worthy.
I'm not using Riadane. I'm using the other side, Valkyria, Protector Shield.
Okay, if a source an opponent controls would deal damage to you or a permanent you controlled, prevent one of that damage. One that I thought of for if you're going into the counters theme, give me a sec actually, because I have maybe a list I want to pull up. But one that I thought of that would be kind of fun is Boromir. I think Boromir, Warden of the North. And this, I gotta look him up really quick to make sure exactly what his wording is. But essentially, he counteracts ETBs, I believe, or free spells. He counters them. Boromir, Warden of the Tower. When an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you could get some extra counter stuff off of that. There's Strict Proctor. It's a spirit. When a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability to trigger, counter that ability unless its controller pays 2. That one is very iffy. If you go into Flicker, you should not play that because it does counter your own stuff too. So I run that in a deck where I have like 2 ETBs in the whole deck, so I'll run it.
Which card?
Strict Proctor. Let me see. Doorkeeper Thrall. Artifacts and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. This one I think would be really fun. This is a mono white. I'm looking through my mono white stacks deck for some suggestions. This one actually I think would be really fun because it pairs really well with Crovax, but it's Curse of Conformity. It's a curse. You enchant a player, and non-legendary creatures that they control have base power and toughness 3/3. So you do that, and then you have Crovax out, and then you turn their whole board into 2/2s.
Oh, that's fun.
I think it would be a good time. I think there's a lot of fun stacksy stuff you could do.
I feel like that really just buffs up your Scoot Swarms then, so they don't just instantly die.
What? No, I didn't have ulterior motives.
Oh, dude, I didn't realize he was playing the. Oh, jeez. cheating.
We gotta deal with this man.
I know.
He's getting out of control.
It is.
He can't win a game.
It really is.
All right, you guys. I've always felt like there's a conspiracy against me, and now I know. Now I know.
There's not, but there can be.
I mean, yeah. If you're not careful, it won't be hard.
Yeah. I mean, in white and blue, you can definitely go into stacks and control more. I think that would be fun. There's just a lot of options with this deck.
Yeah.
I think it could be also maybe fun. Like, if you want to lean into the base power and toughness 7/7 one, it could be fun to just run a bunch of weenies. Like, run a bunch of really, really weak creatures. And then buff them up to 7/7.
That
you know
would be fun.
Yeah, actually, sorry, now that I think of it, a fun one for you would be Fencing Ace. He's a 1-drop with 1/1. He's a 1-drop 1/1, and he has double strike. Or he's a 2-drop 1/1, double strike. So that could be kind of fun to drop him, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, this is a 7/7 with double strike for 2 mana. I think you could do something with that.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, I think if you are going to lean into Flicker, I think it would actually really benefit you to have a bunch of low-cost, cheap creatures, because he's so expensive, and if you're just playing into him and somebody removes him...
but Ward 3...
I don't know. Yeah, I know, but you can get around Ward. Like, there's plenty of ways to get around Ward. It's just a matter of time until somebody finds a way to remove him for 3 extra mana. I mean...
Then I just run Counterspell.
Sure,
Additionally,
that's fair.
if you go with the weenie train... what you could also
I don't like that that's the terminology you're using, I must say.
I think that's got to be...
It's a family-friendly podcast.
They're called... Weenies is an actual tag on EDHREC, I believe. I am almost certain.
I don't want to know what looking that up finds.
Just Google weenies.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
weenies is an actual tag on EDHREC.
I feel like we're devolving. I think we may need to stop.
I'm not doing that one.
All right.
Anyway, sorry. It is an actual Magic term. I'm not just making that up out of nowhere. I'm not crazy. My point is, I was thinking about Sun Titan because it's a giant, and I feel like it's very Nordic. And that one is same idea. Whenever it enters or attacks, you get an effect. But if you go with a bunch of little cheap guys that you're going to buff up with Storvald, then you can run some recursion as well with Sun Titan or other similar cards. I think that white has a decent amount of bring stuff back from the graveyard.
I'm liking this. How are we feeling? Are we feeling like we're fine? We good?
Yeah.
I'm worried your deck's going to just kind of take off here in a moment, and I'm going to be very scared.
Don't worry, it will. I'm gonna spend some time. I'm actually gonna give it some thought. I'm gonna tune it. We're not playing super villain stuff. I'm just gonna beat you guys with a big stick.
I'm going to include a snow-covered forest just to really be on your team here. I know you have some stuff against snow-covered things, but I'm going to put one in there. Just pray you're nice to me.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm really curious. I think this is going to be a good deck.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be...
This is one that I'm...
Oh, go ahead.
This is one that, like, I think I have most of the parts for already. So, like, building it in paper, if I enjoy playing it, is very realistic.
That's cool.
Well, I think it's a good...
What is that? What?
Go ahead.
What is the one card you played last game that lets you play 3 additional lands for 1 mana?
Oh, I wanted that too. What is that? I'm playing that as well.
Summer Bloom, I think.
Yep,
it's 2
that's
mana.
cool.
Yes.
Yep, that's going in.
It's garbage. 2
Summer
mana,
Bloom.
too much.
Putting it in.
Okay, I will genuinely say this. You need to run that in a deck that runs a lot of card draw. Like, unless you get it, like, for it to work on curve to its full effect, you have to draw it in your opening hand, and then you need at least 5 lands. Because you have to, like, play a land, second turn play a land, play the card, and then have 3 additional lands to play. I use that in decks with a ton of card draw, where you're going to have, 6 lands in hand because you just drew 15 cards. It's fine. I mean, 2 mana for play an extra land this turn isn't bad, but it just, if you really don't expect to get out an extra 3 lands every time you play it, unless you're running a ridiculous amount of card draw. So
That's smart. All right. Well, do you guys feel like we're at a good stopping point here?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm
Well-
playing Magic with Ren tonight. He's driving down, so it'll be fun.
I'm sad
Yeah,
I
I'm
can't
gonna
be there.
make the long trip, and then I'm gonna play probably Rend MWHAH and just make birds.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I do think
I didn't
Ren,
realize you owned that deck in person.
we need to
do.
form an alliance for the sake of saving face for our podcast. Anytime we play with other people, we need to make sure we're working together. I was playing with some friends last night, and I won 2 games in a row. And they didn't make like a bad comment, but it was just like, oh, like, wow, you're winning. And I just was like, I have to win. Like, I can't run a Magic podcast and then not win at Magic. You know, I realize I feel like there's pressure now because now
I
putting
feel
out a
like you're
podcast-
just really worried that Ren's going to destroy you and trying to barter for your own
no
life
ulterior
right now.
motives. I would never do ulterior motives.
Well, I think this is a great spot to wrap it. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 3, the first part of our podcast, The Magic We Have at Home. We'll see you guys soon in a week with these decks hopefully ready to roll and tuned, and hopefully my Samurai can hold up against Storvald and whatever treasure nonsense Bjorn is coming up with. So,
Coming for that intro.
yeah, coming for the intro. I like it. All right. Thank you
I
guys.
like that. That's what we've put up as the barter. I like that a lot. Actually.
Yeah, I think it's
That's right.
really great. Yep.
Thank you guys.
So
for tuning
anyway,
in
what I
to-
was thinking.
All right, I'm leaving. See you guys.
See you guys.
Bye.